This is not how I wanted my 2021 to end. Hey folks, so this is a nearly midnight rambling. It is almost the 31st of December 2021, and because my wife works from home, we share this room and everything during the day. I can't record this during the day, and also because it's New Year's Eve, we've got stuff planned, so I need to record this now and then edit it in the morning. So hopefully, future Mr. TARDIS in the morning, hopefully there's something salvageable in this. Best of luck to you, buddy. But this originally was not the plan. The plan was to have my Galaxy 4 Steelbook unboxing that I recorded last month, but because of circumstances, I've just only got around to editing and putting together. So I wanted that to be the last video of the year. Unfortunately, now this will be because things have unexpectedly escalated. So here's a little bit of context. So I do Doctor Who reviews on YouTube, and because of the BBC taking basically a scorched earth approach to content ID and copyright on YouTube, to the extent that sometimes they will actually breach YouTube's terms of service in order to do so. I've talked about this in the past. In fact, they will even in some cases strike down their own videos because, what's the phrase, sledgehammer to crack a nut, that type of thing. So as somebody who has been doing Doctor Who reviews and things like that for over 10 years on this channel, on this platform, on YouTube, I've basically been conditioned to incorporate a bunch of workarounds into my video editing process, my video making process, and of course the dispute process. So because my reviews are categorically 100% falling into the boundaries of fair use, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them in a legal sense. However, because of the content ID system and the BBC's approach to it, it means that the videos frequently do wind up demonetized or in some cases blocked, but I dispute the claims. There's a 30-day timer where the claimant, the BBC in this case, has to respond. If they do respond within the 30 days, you can dispute that again, and then there's another 30-day timer. The BBC, knowing that my videos are completely fine, can't just take the videos down, so instead they just let the 30-day clocks run out, meaning that my videos can sometimes take up to 60 days, 2 months, just to either be viewable or monetizable. And also, if you have a content ID claim, it negatively affects your videos in the almighty YouTube algorithm. YouTube say that they don't, but the data, all of the statistics and analytics on my end at least, say otherwise. One project I wanted to do at the beginning of 2022 is like a making of a Mr. TARDIS video. I've got it mostly scripted. I'm going to do it for my Evil of the Daleks animation review because you've seen the review already. It's just, here's the animated version, so I thought I'd do something a bit more interesting for my Evil of the Daleks review. And in that video script, I've actually included what I do in the editing to make sure that my videos actually do get a automatic claim, that the footage I use will definitely get content ID flagged by YouTube's automated system, so that I can just get through the dispute process as quickly as possible, just get it out of the way, meaning that once the 60 days are up and a claimant cannot claim a video twice for the same footage, it means once it's done then, it's out the way, it's all sorted. In the past, there were some videos where I used clips that were short enough or it was edited quickly enough that it got no content ID detection. However, shortly after the video going live, it would get a manual claim, meaning that the video, even though it's been live, it just gets removed off the face of the earth for a few days or a few months, and then it comes back up and oh, no one's watching it, and it's just, the views are dead now, the video's dead. And it's because of that approach that I ensure that it gets sorted. So with my reviews of Doctor Who Flux, it has been officially 60 days since I first started reviewing Doctor Who Flux, which means that the first review, the Halloween Apocalypse, is now completely free, is now completely sorted. But I woke up today to a notification on my YouTube dashboard, which really surprised me. It's something in the 10 or 11 years of doing YouTube, doing Doctor Who reviews, and also on a separate channel, movie reviews, it's something I'd never seen before. So here we go, important notifications. Video received a copyright claim. Oh, okay, what's this? Doctor Who Flux War of the Sontarans, Doctor Who Flux Village of the Angels. Okay, what's this? I disputed these twice. These should be approaching the end of their 60-day cycle, so what's going on here? View options, strike pending. So this video is scheduled for removal in 6 days. The copyright owner disagreed with your appeal and issued a request for your video to be removed in 6 days. The video is still public, but there is a strike pending, and the same goes for my review of War of the Sontarans. And if you think this is just, vindictive BBC wanting to silence Doctor Who criticism, War of the Sontarans and Village of the Angels are basically the most positive reviews that I've done of the series, and they are, in my opinion, pretty positive reviews overall, especially War of the Sontarans. So in 6 days, so that's January 5th or January 6th, depending on when the clock is, I believe this is like a 7-day thing, it's just using 6 days because it's rounding down. The video will be removed and I will receive a copyright strike, and for those of you who know, 3 strikes and you're out. In my 10 or 11 years of doing Doctor Who reviews and reviewing BBC content and BBC TV shows and stuff, I have never received a notification like this before. This came completely out of the blue. I've got no emails, I've got no information pertaining to these videos in particular or anything. When you get a Content ID claim and you dispute it for the second time, in order for that dispute to go forward, you have to give like your personal information, your name, your address, your contact number, your email address, so that the claimant can contact you, and I've had nothing. And I'm not going to lie, having those 2 strikes hanging over my head this afternoon really upset me. I'm someone who does not deal with emotions in a particularly healthy or organic way, probably due to diagnoses in my life that I've only recently kind of become aware of, but that's a story for another time. So when I saw these notifications, like the pit of my stomach, like a black hole there that just encompassed my entire body, my head was just like hot, like red, burning hot, because it was just racing, almost like race car tires, just like spiraling in place and burning up the tarmac and the rubber. And thankfully, a slight weight has been lifted now, because this is a screenshot that was taken during the afternoon. This was Doctor Who The Halloween Apocalypse, the Content ID page. Video cannot be monetized, appeal expires today. I was thinking the BBC could just say, oh no, we want this video taken down as well, and then that would have been the 3rd strike. And a 3rd strike in such a short span of time would basically be the end of the channel. Thankfully though, just a couple of hours after I took that screenshot and before I recorded this video, there are no restrictions anymore. The video is completely public, it's monetizable, there's no viewing restrictions. The Halloween Apocalypse is absolutely fine. So that's that's one less sword of Damocles hanging over my head right now. So you think, okay, Mr. TARDIS, why don't you just dispute the claims? So, okay, let's do that then. So if you go into select action, and this is the same process for both of the videos, but I'll just show it for this one, Village of the Angels. Select action, cancel appeal, or learn more. There is no dispute option. There's no 3rd option here. So if you go and learn more, I will get rid of my webcam because it will be blocking the view. It tells you what your options are, basically. Do nothing. You can wait for the takedown request to take effect in 7 days. At that point, the video will be removed and a copyright strike will be applied to your account. Or you can delete your video. If you remove your video before the 7 days are up, your video will be off the site, but your channel won't get a copyright strike. You can contact the content owner who requested the removal of your video. Outside of a generic BBC HR email address, I don't actually have a contact detail. So this is, on the face of it, kind of a useless option. I don't have a direct line of communication. Or, if the delayed takedown request was a result of your appeal of a Content ID claim, which these 2 are, you can cancel your appeal within 7 days. This prevents the takedown and keeps the claim active on your video. So that's what this option is, cancel appeal. In the next 7 days, I can cancel the appeal, and this strike will go away. However, my video will be ineligible for monetization, it will be tanked in algorithms and stuff like that, and I will never be able to get this video sorted again, because once you cancel appeal, you can't uncancel it, and then you can't go through the cycle again. And I know that because the one time BBC technically won a Content ID claim against me was years ago for my review of The Rings of Akhaten, when I just thought I'd email them and say, hey, we've done this for years, it's fair use, just will you let it go? And they said, okay, if you cancel the appeal, we'll get rid of the claim. So I cancelled the appeal, and then they didn't get rid of the claim. I emailed them saying, hey, what's up? And then they replied saying, yeah, no, we're not going to do the video. So then I had to delete the video, re-upload it, and then do the Content ID claims again, because the BBC basically lied and tricked me into losing a Content ID claim. Okay, let's read on for the help stuff. So after 7 days, when YouTube removes the video, your channel will get a copyright strike. Deleting the video at that point will not resolve the strike, so I have to do something in this 6-day timer. Strikes expire after 90 days, but your video will not be reinstated after the strike expires. If it's your first strike, you need to complete copyright school. At this point, you may also choose to submit a counter notification if you believe that your video was mistakenly removed because it was misidentified as infringing or qualifies as fair use. Learn more about copyright strikes, and there's a link here. Now, I already know everything that there is to know about copyright strikes and everything, but I spoke to someone in YouTube's live chat. I did a live chat with somebody shortly after this, and they said that you basically cannot do anything in terms of disputing this until the strike has happened. So my channel, if I want these 2 videos to remain up, will have to eat 2 strikes in 5 or 6 days' time, and then I can do a dispute, and that dispute, the BBC will have 10 days to respond to that, and at the end of that 10-day response, it's either we go to court or we let the videos up. Now, if I were to go through a legal channel or something, if that is the option I decide to take, I decide to eat those 2 strikes and then dispute and then 10 days and whatever, I'm pretty sure I would almost like unambiguously win that fight. Like, the videos are obviously fair use, and you also have to just look at the precedent here. I mean, my review of the Halloween Apocalypse went through the exact same Content ID appeals process and has come out the other side completely fine. The Halloween Apocalypse review is of like comparable format and clip usage and everything to my reviews of Village of the Angels and War of the Sontarans. So it would be obvious that the BBC are just picking and choosing here. Like, either this type of review is okay or it's not okay. Like, why just single out those 2 reviews when I have 6 reviews of Flux, 6 episodes in the season, going through the appeals process? But I also want you folks to understand just the amount of Content ID claims and everything that I have been doing over the past 10 to 11 years. So I've been reviewing Doctor Who since Series 5, and while I've not reviewed in depth every single episode since Series 5, like I've not done video reviews of most of Series 8, 9, and 10, I did reactions to Series 11, but I did do clipped reviews of Series 5, I've done clipped reviews of Series 12, I've done Daleksember, I've done Cybersember, so we're talking like hundreds of reviews with clips that have gone through the Content ID process. And handily, YouTube Studio gives you a feature where you can look at all of the Content ID claims that are currently happening on your videos, or ones which have been affected by Content ID claims. So I've got nearly 600 reviews on my channel. I've been going for 10 to 11 years now. The most recent Content ID claims are for my top 50, which due to a mix-up on YouTube's part, a glitch on their end, despite making these videos 2 months in advance to do the 60-day timer, a glitch on their end meant that the appeals did not process, which means they have to do it again. So yeah, that's an issue on YouTube's end. However, if you click this button to invert the date from the newest to the oldest video of mine in my 10 to 11 year history of doing reviews of Doctor Who and BBC stuff is from the middle of November this year with the War of the Sontarans. Every single review and video that I have done on this channel is Content ID clean. I've done those disputes, I have fought them, I have won every single one of them. Every single one. This is the oldest review, War of the Sontarans, from November this year, and I've been doing this for years. So if this were to go to a legal front, why was every single Daleksember review okay? Why was the Daleksember compilation okay? Why was Cybersember okay? Why was Series 12 and Revolution of the Daleks? And why was Series 5, 6, and 7 okay? But these 2 weren't. You can't pick and choose. Either these videos are breaching copyright law, which they're not, but either they are or they aren't, and either they all need to go or none of them need to go. So you can't just look at 2 random videos. The Flux review of Once Upon Time is still in appeal. That seems to be completely okay. That expires in 8 days. My review of Survivors of the Flux can't be seen or monetized at the moment, but that's because it's just come to the end of its first 30-day cycle, and I've started the second one, so it may take a couple of days for this one to become viewable again, but this seems to be fine. And The Vanquishers is still in the first 30-day cycle. There's 10 days left, but there's no restrictions. It's viewable. Content ID claim is not affected anything. I just can't monetize it. So how can a copyright holder defend letting hundreds of prior videos go, but say, nah, these 2 these 2 of 6 of the latest series, those 2 have got to go. And like I said, that entire track record of videos, 10 and a half or 11 years worth of content ID clean, completely free. The only time the BBC could actually win one of these content ID disputes was the Rings of Akaten one, and in order to do that, they had to literally lie and trick me into doing it. And then once that was done and I re-uploaded the video, 60 days, video was fine. This is it, the Rings of Akaten review that had this dispute. Restrictions, none. There's no content ID on this video at all. It's still up, it's fine, it's viewable. Even the BBC trying to trick me into not having this review up still resulted in the review going up because it is completely fine. I've been doing this for 10 years. If this was a copyright issue, I think I'd know by now. And here's the thing, folks, believe it or not, I do 100% understand and respect copyright law, and I even understand and respect content ID, because there's so much stuff going on YouTube. There does need to be an automated system, and unfortunately the automated system finds it difficult to differentiate between just a flagrant re-upload and something transformative. And I do think copyright and license holders and everything do need a system in place where they can, maybe make sure that their stuff is not being pirated or re-uploaded. I 100% get that. The issue is when you get organizations like the BBC, which take a scorched earth approach, where everything that goes through their content ID system, kill it, unless you dispute it, and then if you dispute it, they have to let it go, because it doesn't matter if they like it or not. If it fits within, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, if it fits all legal frameworks, then they can't do anything about it, because YouTube is not their platform. If they don't want my reviews playing on the BBC, that's fine, they don't have to, and I'm not asking for that. But like I said, I do actually respect copyright law, and I will go through these proper channels if I'm able to. When it was like 2011 or 2012, I actually got blanket permission from the BBC to review Doctor Who stuff, because they got in touch with me, they invited me to some press events, and they invited me to some merchandise showcases and stuff like that. And they were like, yeah, you can upload stuff, we'll send you review copies of DVDs and things like that, and that was really cool. Then a few years later, something internally changed, and they were like, no, we're not doing this anymore, which is fine. They don't have to, but the truth is, I didn't need their permission in the first place, but when I was first starting out on YouTube, I still asked for it, and for the first few years of my channel, I got it. And most recently, in my 1963 live stream, one thing I was wanting to do for that live stream was to do a Zoom read-through of the very first draft of Blink by Stephen Moffat, because that's available on the BBC Writers' Room. And I thought, okay, that would be a really cool thing for charity. Let's get some voice actors together. Let's read through that very interesting script, and let's just go through that for charity on Zoom. But I thought, okay, actually, because this is not like a fair use, this is not a transformative thing, this is literally just a read-through of a published script, even though it was never a broadcast version of the episode. Let's clear this first. So I got in touch with the BBC Writers' Room, I emailed them, said what we were doing, that was for charity, and they said, not our department, here's who you can go to. So I emailed them, told them the same thing, and they responded saying, oh, thanks for getting in touch and for your interest, but we'd rather you didn't do it. And I didn't do it. Now, I'm aware that I didn't break copyright law that one time is not an ironclad legal argument, but I like to think it demonstrates that, when applicable, I will go through those channels, because I do want my content to be above board, and for the past 10 or 11 years, my channel has been 100% above board, which is why I was so shocked and surprised that this happened. This came out of the blue. I've never seen this notification before. And as things stand right now, unless I do something, in 5 to 6 days, my YouTube channel will receive 2 out of the 3 strikes. And considering that these reviews are basically no different to the type of reviews that I've been doing for the past few years, that just made me feel completely blindsided by this, like logistically and emotionally. So let me just talk through what my current plans are regarding this situation, because earlier this afternoon I spent most of the day just refreshing this Halloween Apocalypse page, because the appeal expired today, just wondering, is this going to be the 3rd strike? Is this going to be the 3rd strike? And then it turned out, no, it's absolutely fine, which made me feel significantly better about the whole situation, because 3 strikes and you're out, and it is just going to be the 2, at least at time of making this video. And I do think that that video being released while these two got strikes works for me incredibly well should this get further legally or whatever, but I don't think it will get to that point. But it means that right now my channel actually can survive these two strikes, and I can dispute these claims, and then I'm basically, at time of making this video, about 99% certain that if I eat these strikes within the 10 days, my my channel will be in good standing again and be absolutely fine. So my options right now are basically twofold, or two and a bit fold, because the second option is basically the same thing. So firstly, I can just eat these two strikes, dispute, and then hope for the best. Or I can cancel the appeal, which means that these videos will be forever monetized by the BBC Studios, BBC Worldwide, and they'll forever be algorithmically impacted and stuff, but they'll still be viewable. Or, you know, part B, I can delete the video completely and just take it from there, whether I just re-upload the review and just go through the Content ID process again, or if I just save it for the inevitable Doctor Who Flux review compilation, which I plan to do, similar to the Dalek December compilation, remains to be seen. However, one thing that I want to stress very earnestly right now is that I am an incredibly stubborn person. I have literally done nothing wrong here. I have, like, emails where the BBC admit to breaching YouTube's terms of service, where they abuse YouTube's Content ID process, which, according to YouTube's terms of service, means that they should no longer be allowed to do claims like this, but YouTube just, you know, out of sight, out of mind. What's the BBC? Oh, don't care, whatever, we're too big. So with that in mind, and that in my back pocket, I honestly doubt that it will get any further, like, legally. I think it will just be a case of eating these two strikes and then disputing them, and then I carry on as normal afterwards. However, if you folks want to talk me out of that approach, that's what the comment section is for below. I just don't see why I, someone who is working as best as I am able to be legally above board, who has got like a 10-year track record of doing Content ID workable videos and stuff on YouTube that are completely above board, should yield to these threats and cancel the appeal or delete the video, essentially letting BBC Studios know, this is what we can do to get rid of Mr. TARDIS's videos. And not to sound too big-headed or anything, but I can't think of many other people in the Doctor Who community, sans maybe Josh Snares, who has also had his issues with YouTube Content ID and stuff like that. I can't think of many other creators that are mine or his size in terms of audience and reach and stuff. So if I don't hold the line here, then basically any YouTuber or anybody who wants to talk about BBC as a specialist subject on this website, that means they're all fair game. Because the BBC must know about the 3 copyright strike system. Like, they have to know about it. It's basically common knowledge at this point, I think, if you frequent YouTube to any capacity. So the fact that they've given me 2 strike pendings and not the third one, maybe I'm overthinking it, but that is something that I could easily interpret as like a warning or a statement of intent or something, a tactic that they want to try to stop these reviews from going on YouTube. And if you think, Mr. TARDIS, why are you trying to characterize the BBC as a villain? Need I remind you that they literally lied and tricked me into removing a Content ID claim appeal on my review of The Rings of Akhaten. As far as I'm concerned, on my channel at least, it is 100% in character for the BBC to do something as underhanded and as petty as that. I've been searching on YouTube's like help and forums and stuff like that, and I don't think copyright strikes will affect my ability to live stream. I think that's community strikes that affect your standing there. If you Google YouTube's community guidelines, if you get a community strike, then the first strike will freeze a channel for 1 week. Users won't be able to upload or stream any new content to YouTube. Like before, that strike will expire after 90 days. A second strike within that 90 day will result in a 2-week upload freeze, and the third strike will shut down the channel. However, copyright strikes seem to be different, where they don't appear to affect your channel or your ability to upload or live stream or anything like that. It just means if you get 3 strikes, then your account will be deleted. However, my channel is part of the YouTube Partner Program, which means that I'm eligible for a 7-day courtesy period. That's what this is. This is the 7-day courtesy period. After 3 copyright strikes, you'll have an additional 7 days to act before your channel is disabled. During this period, your copyright strikes won't expire and you can't upload new videos. Your channel will remain live and you can access it to seek a resolution for your strikes. If you submit a counter notification, your channel won't be disabled while the counter notification is unresolved. If the counter notification is resolved in your favor or the claim is retracted, your channel won't be impacted. So I genuinely could eat these 2 strikes and my channel will be absolutely fine until I get a 3rd one. And with that in mind, I think that's why I'm willing to, at time of recording this at least, willing to eat these 2 strikes, continue streaming and uploading as normal. But I've got to say, it is very demoralizing and not to mention just incredibly stressful. Like, I know that I'm going to be going into 2022 with significantly more grey hairs. And just knowing that everything that you've done over the past 10 to 11 years that was completely above board, where you were working within the systems and the frameworks and was winning every single time with literally a 100% success rate. Like I said, the earliest video in my 10 to 11 years of YouTubing on talking about Doctor Who and everything, like all of the Content ID claims that I have on this channel are the December marathon ones, and that was basically entirely due to a YouTube glitch. These videos should have been freed by the end of November. And the reviews of Doctor Who Flux, because I wanted to be topical with those. Conversely, if I'd had that strike pending threat on one of my top 50 videos, I would have said, okay then, I'll get rid of the videos, I'll delete all of them, and then I will just wait until my top 50 Doctor Who scenes compilation, that's nearly 4 hours long, makes it through its current Content ID system. I mean, you allowed the Daleksember compilation to be uploaded after going through all 25 Dalek reviews back in 2019, going through the entire 60-day process for all of those videos, so I'm sure that the top 50 compilation will also be absolutely fine. But yeah, this is just incredibly demoralizing, knowing that your entire framework and system, and honestly, and to be a bit more personal right now, kind of like my main form of income right now as Omicron makes its way through the UK and TV productions and film productions are shutting down, and January is normally a really busy time of year, but I'm already getting like cancellations and stuff like that for my freelance job. Thankfully, like for the first week of January, I've got work lined up, but after that, I want to make sure that I can finish that freelance media work and then come back to this chair, live stream with you folks every week, do my in-depth Doctor Who reviews, do my unboxings. Like, I want to do season 17 next. I want to make my way through that box set and enjoy those stories and share that with you. And also, I just think it's very disheartening that the BBC are taking such a scorched earth approach to this when, firstly, it's just 100% legally above board. Like, I understand to an extent going through the Content ID process for 2 months. I get that bit, but this strike threatening, that's low. This feels really low. And the constant messages I get from people who are saying, like, you know, this has been a really shit year and your live streams have really helped, and going through your reviews and your analysis, and it's funny and entertaining and educational and informative and really great stuff. And, you know, it's got me through the year. It's got me through dark times. And the BBC are like, no, stop that. Cease and desist. There's a good boy. So this video is mainly here to let you folks know that if in 5 or 6 days' time the channel is gone, this is why. And I'll continue disputing, I'll continue fighting, but this has knocked the wind from me emotionally. I've talked at length before how in the UK, media freelancers and PAYE employees in the UK in TV and film received zero government support, or like the vast majority of people working in the industry received zero support and everything during the lockdowns and the pandemic and everything. I did a whole live stream, a charity live stream about it, and it is no exaggeration to say that without my YouTube stuff, without my channel, without the ad revenue, without the sponsorships, without my patrons, of course, I'd be done for. Like I wouldn't have been able to live through the time. I wouldn't have been able to have had the income. I wouldn't have been able to pay rent. I don't know what I would have done. And for now, the BBC, to basically take all of that and take all of that work over 10 years, despite no fundamental change on my part, and say, no, actually, we're going to try and take this thing down, it hurts. It hurts a lot. My channel is now at a point where I'm actually getting regular invites for sponsorships and sponsored content and stuff like this. And having a strike on the channel, which could result in the channel getting shut down for potentially 10 days while it gets resolved, if I were to get a third strike, could massively affect that as well, because when you do sponsored content, sometimes they want it up in a particular window, sometimes they want it up on a particular day. If my channel's not live on that day, I can't get that sponsorship, I don't get paid, I can't feed my cats. So if the worst does happen to this channel, basically, folks, the best thing that you can do until it gets resolved is twofold. One, I'm very tired. One, you can just signal boost. You can go on Twitter, you can follow me there, let people know what's going on, to send support and kind words and things like that, and basically just say, hey, the BBC is being really, really underhanded on YouTube, and maybe even YouTube should step in, considering how long this has been going on for and how openly and flagrantly the BBC abuse YouTube's terms of service. And the BBC probably hate me for saying that, but do you know what I hate? I hate being on the receiving end of your breaches of YouTube's terms of service, so maybe if you don't want to be called out on it, don't do it. And secondly is my Patreon. My Patreon is not going anywhere for the time being. Eve of the Daleks broadcasts tomorrow. If something happens on my channel, meaning I can't upload that video, it will go to my patrons. My patrons will be able to watch it as soon as it has finished rendering and uploaded and everything. So you can get your name at the end of the credits. You'll get early access to it regardless of what happens. And that helps to feed my cats. That helps to pay my rent. That helps to keep everything moving here. That helps to, allow me to do what I do week in, week out, especially during these really turbulent times where my media freelance work is kind of coming and going all over the place, and it is not a stable industry right now. And I just quickly looked on Twitter and saw the lovely Josh Snares just retweeting signal boosting my original tweet and stuff like that, and I hope Josh Snares doesn't mind me reading this out, but it's like midnight and I'm tired. The BBC has money and we don't. Corporations always win. And honestly, while I am just me, my 20-ish thousand subscriber YouTube account in the UK, it's because of that I want to see these strikes through. I want to kind of let the BBC know that no, this approach, just like all of your prior approaches, will also not work. Because back in the day, Doctor Who fans and fans of all like niche media and stuff like that would start fanzines and start their own little community thing, but nowadays we make YouTube channels, and it doesn't matter if you personally, the BBC, don't like that. That's the media landscape. YouTube is a platform that you don't own, that you can't control, and you will have to live with it. This stuff has all come at a time when I've been as invested in this channel as I have been since I first started it, doing the weekly live streams, doing the almost daily segments, able to bridge the gap and appease that bloody algorithm, while I also work and chug away at those in-depth reviews, which are the things that I enjoy doing the most. And I think it's the stuff that my most dedicated and regular viewers and followers and listeners and everything, that's what they enjoy the most as well. I love the live streams and I love the interactions, and that's been terrific. For me, that's kind of given this channel a new lease on life and has allowed me to interact in incredibly wonderful ways with all of you folks. But for me, basically, those live streams are there to subsidize these reviews. These are the passion projects. These are the main selling point of the Mr. TARDIS channel. And I'm here to say now that these reviews, these videos, are not going down without a fight.